Hello, 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 and welcome back to the AI Cafe Conversations, your favorite podcast, if I might say. This is episode 6 of season 3. I'm Sahar Andrade, your AI whisperer. So this is part of phase 2 that we started last week about the obstacle. Last week we talked about the 10-20-70 problem, why executives spend 90% of their AI transformation effort on technology when 70% should go to people, processes, and culture. Today we are talking about what that 70% actually looks like, the most important part, which is the people part. And guess what it starts with? It starts with psychological safety. Now I know you have heard this term 1,000 times. We need psychological safety. Our culture values psychological safety. We are working on psychological safety. I hear it every day. Is it true? We'll see. But here is my question. What does that actually mean? Because most organizations treat psychological safety like a buzzword, something you mention in a presentation to sound smart, to sound caring, something HR handles. But psychological safety isn't a buzzword. It's a biological necessity for AI transformation to work. And without it, here is what happens. People hide their AI usage. Innovation happens in shadows. Mistakes get covered up. And your 2 million AI investment fails quietly while everyone nods in meeting and says, it's going great. So today, let's talk about what psychological safety actually is, why it matters neurologically, and how you build it as a practice during AI disruption. Let's go. Okay, so let's start with the definition first, okay? Psychological safety is the belief that you won't be punished or humiliated or speaking up with ideas, questions, concerns, or bringing up mistakes, or even making a mistake. That's it. It's not complicated. But here is why it matters. And I'm going to talk for a second about the Google's Project Aristotle. Google spent years studying what makes teams effective. They looked at hundreds of teams, analyzed thousands of data points. And here is what they found. The most important predictor of team effectiveness wasn't talent, wasn't technical skills, wasn't even clear goals. It was psychological safety. Teams where people felt safe taking risks, admitting mistakes, and asking questions. Those teams consistently outperformed everyone else. Teams where people were afraid to look incompetent, afraid to challenge ideas, afraid to admit confusion, those teams, did you guess? Failed. Even when they had the smartest people in the room. Why this matters for AI? Because AI transformation requires admitting you don't understand something, asking stupid questions. In my book, there are no stupid questions. Reporting when AI tools are not working. Challenging AI outputs that don't make sense. Experimenting with new approaches. Failing fast and learning. All of those things require psychological safety. Without it, people pretend they understand AI when they don't. That's a catastrophe on its own. Don't ask questions because they don't want to look behind. Don't report problems because they don't want to be blamed. Don't experiment because failure isn't safe. Use shadow AI instead of asking for approved tools. That's why, according to Accenture research, 77% of executives say trust is the foundation for AI benefits to work. Not talent, not technology, trust. So let's talk about the neuroscience of psychological safety. Here is what happens in your brain when psychological safety exists. Your prefrontal cortex stays engaged. This is the part of your brain responsible for complex thinking, problem solving, creativity, and collaboration. When you feel safe, you can access these higher order cognitive functions. But when psychological safety does not exist, your amygdala activates. That's your brain's threat detection system. It kicks in. And when that happens, your thinking part, the prefrontal cortex activity decreases. You become more defensive. You avoid risk. You hide information. You focus on self-protection, not team success. So psychological safety isn't just nice to have, it's neurologically required for the kind of thinking AI transformation demands. So why AI destroys psychological safety faster than other changes? Okay, so if psychological safety is so important, why does AI destroy it so quickly? Because AI triggers 3 specific fears faster and deeper than most other organizational change. Fear number 1, I will look incompetent. AI is new. Most people don't understand it, including executives. But no one wants to admit that. So what happens? People nod in meetings, pretend they get it, and don't ask questions. And then they go back to their desk and either 1, use shadow AI tools they found on their own, 2, don't use AI at all and fall behind. Why? Because admitting, I don't understand this, feels like admitting, I am not smart enough for this job. Fear number 2, I will be replaced. This is the elephant in the room. I know you heard about FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Have you heard about PHOBO? Fear of becoming obsolete. This is fear number 2. And like I said, it's the elephant in the room. People know AI automates work. They have read the headlines. They have seen the layoffs. So when leadership says we are adopting AI to augment your work, what people hear is we are figuring out which of you we don't need anymore. And when you think you might lose your job, psychological safety evaporates. You don't admit mistakes. You don't ask for help. You don't collaborate openly. Self-preservation. You protect yourself first. Fear number 3, I will get blamed when AI fails. Here is the tricky one. Leadership says use AI tools, innovate, experiment. But then AI makes a mistake, hallucinates, gives the wrong answer, creates a problem. And leadership asks, why didn't you catch that? So now employees are stuck. If you don't use AI, they are not innovative. If they do use AI and it fails, they are blamed for not verifying. That's a double bind, and it kills psychological safety. The compounding effect, these three fears create a vicious circle. People hide their confusions about AI. Problems don't get surfaced early. Small issues become big failures. Leadership gets frustrated and adds more control, which increases fear, which increases hiding, which creates bigger failure. Vicious circle. And suddenly your AI transformation is failing and no one is telling you why, because they don't feel safe enough to tell you. Okay, so how do you build psychological safety during AI transformation? We always discuss the issue, then we give you a solution. Here are 4 practices that actually work. Practice number 1, model vulnerability at the top. Psychological safety doesn't trickle up, it cascades down. If leadership doesn't model vulnerability, no one else will feel safe being vulnerable. So what does this look like? Leaders saying, I don't fully understand how this AI model works. Can someone explain it to me? Or, I made a decision last quarter to deploy this tool without enough training. That was a mistake. Here is what we are doing differently. Or, I'm worried about whatever concern you have. What are you seeing? This is not weakness. Actually, it's leadership. Because when leaders admit they don't know everything, it gives everyone else permission to not know everything. And that's when real learning happens. Practice number 2, separate learning from performance. Here is a mistake most organizations make. They deploy AI, they tell people to learn it, and then they immediately evaluate performance using those new AI tools. That's terrifying, because now people are being judged on something they are still learning. So they don't experiment, they don't take risks, they play it safe. Instead, regulated leaders separate learning from performance. For example, for the next 90 days, we are in a learning mode. Use AI tools, make mistakes, share what you're learning. This will not affect your performance review. That creates psychological safety. People can admit, I tried this AI tool and it didn't work. And instead of being punished, they are celebrated for experimenting and sharing the lesson. Practice number 3. Reward reporting problems, not hiding them. Most organizations punish people who surface problems, not intentionally, but functionally. Someone says, this AI tool is giving inaccurate outputs, and leadership responds, why didn't you check it more carefully? What did that person just learn? Guess what? Don't report problems. So next time they hide it, or they use a different tool without telling anyone. Regulated leaders do exactly the opposite. The response will be, thank you for catching this. This is exactly what we need to know. Let's figure out what went wrong and how to prevent it. That's how you build psychological safety. You reward the behavior you want, even when the news is bad. Practice number 4, create safe experimentation channels. Remember the vibe coding problem? Employees spinning up their own AI agents without telling leadership? That's not rebellion. That's lack of psychological safety. They are solving problems, but they don't feel safe asking for approved tools. So create those safe channels. Like create a Slack channel called AI Experiments, where people share what they are testing. Or monthly, do an AI show and tell, where teams demo what they tried, whether it worked or not. Or have a clear process. If you want to try a new AI tool, here is how to request it. Fast approval, no bureaucracy. You can have 2, you can have 1, you can have the 3 of them. This transforms shadow AI into visible innovation. Instead of hiding experimentation, you are encouraging it within guardrails, not gates, guardrails. How to measure psychological safety? You know what? That's a good question. You can't just survey people and ask, do you feel psychologically safe? They will say yes, even if they don't. Instead, measure behaviors. How many questions are asked in meetings about AI? How many problems get reported early versus discovered late? How many people volunteer, I don't understand this? How many experiments are shared openly versus hidden? If those numbers are low, psychological safety is broken. If those numbers are high, you are building it. Okay, so let's bring this home. Psychological safety isn't a buzzword. It's the only reason the 10% technology actually works. Because the 70%, the people, the organizational culture part, is psychological safety. Without it, people hide their AI usage. Problems get covered up. Innovation happens in shadows. AI transformations fail quietly. With it, people admit what they don't know. Problems get surfaced early. Experimentations happens openly. AI transformation succeed. So here are the 4 practices. 1, model vulnerability at the top. Leaders admit they don't know everything. 2, separate learning from performance. 90-day learning mode. 3, reward reporting problems. Celebrate people who surface issues. 4, create safe experimentation channels like visible innovation, not shadow AI. And measure it through behaviors, not surveys. Next week, why do most AI transformation fail? And what do you do instead? If you want to see where trust is breaking down in your organization, take the Shadow AI assessment. It's free, and I will have the link for you into the description. Because the 70% is not optional. It's not. People, it's not. It's the only reason the 10% technical ever works. I am Sahar Andrade, your AI whisperer. This is the AI Cafe Conversations, and our next podcast will be on Friday. It will be the Forbes article-like episode. But before I go, show me some love. Like, subscribe, share this podcast with your friend. Thank you for making us on the top 2% of globally podcasts. I appreciate it. If you wanted to get hold of me, you can email me at sahar@saharconsulting.com. My website is saharconsulting.com. LinkedIn, Sahar Andrade. Instagram, Sahar the Reinvent Coach. Let me know if you want me to talk about a specific subject, or if you have any questions. I'll be happy to respond. I respond within 24 hours. Show me some love though. And till we meet on Friday, peace out.